let me add to that, because I'm not about climate change and pushing climate change.
Yeah, there's a million things we're going to divide on.
Yeah,
like, I know you don't care for RFK Jr., other people do. I know some people like to bridge it, other people don't. But as a whole, we all agree the 9/11 was a bad thing.
If you support climate change and you go to a climate change protest, then bring your 9/11 stuff there.
I mean, Richard Gage is going to the
climate change. It's leading to socialism and social credit.
No. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying, go where you think you might find people to connect with.
Oh,
and if
so
you're
Richard is going to that Anarchapulco or whatever in March, and that they're going to be talking about everything under the sun down there. So, yeah, if you have an opportunity to crash their party, be a wedding crasher kind of thing, go for it.
I love that Richard's brave enough to take this on, because it's a key. I mean, any false flag in our history, false flag goes back to pirate ships. I'm part of the team. I'm here to save you. I mean, the government gonna save you. So, I mean, it's right in line with what's going on with today.
Thank you, Kale.
I was just wondering.
The order of hands that went up was Morgan, then Ed, and now Chuck.
Okay.
So Morgan, go on, brother.
All right, brother. I want to say that I'd like to add a third category to passive and active. Passive, we know that, and active, talking to your friends. And obviously Sandra's been talking about going out and hitting up engineering conferences or anything like that, where you think there's a sort of target audience. And I'd agree with that as a sort of a third method, where it's active, but it isn't necessarily talking to people you're trying to befriend. And I'll be honest, if I'm befriending someone or trying to, et cetera, develop a relationship of any kind with them, I'm not bringing 9/11 truth up. It's not going to happen. But I will and have gone out to open air flea market type things, mall type places, and with a clipboard with material, especially just using your cell phone with nonstop videos of 7 coming down. And it's amazing how open people are. By doing that, you really hit on the people that are open to new information that day. You have a clipboard, you say, hey, I'd like to talk to you about this, and the people that stop are good. If they pass by, let them pass by. But that's for me a great way of being active without sort of, as I would say, hurting my social life. And it really, there are so many people that are open. I have found a lot of people that just instantly are willing to go there. So I think that's a great way. Yeah. And second of all, my second point is that just to let people know, as a part of TAP, the Truth Action Project, you guys know what I'm talking about. If you have an initiative, a campaign, or anything you want to do, if you want to draft an email, I can send that out to our TAP email base, and it will take a quick sort of from probably Bill or someone like that. However, that said, it should be quick, and it's et cetera.
It's a powerful way to reach a lot of people with a message of something concrete that can be done. We definitely need to keep that in mind, that's a really powerful resource. It's 4,000 people who said that they're interested in this, so we should always be reaching out to them. And I just need to, I'm sorry to have to do it, and Ed, I'll get to you in a second, but just towards what you're saying, when you're approaching people, even if you're standing there with a thing and your flyers and whatever, and people are maybe, standoffish about engaging in a conversation, my takeaway from being at Ground Zero this anniversary to getting people to talk is I would ask them, because most of them were quite a bit younger, I asked them, how old were you when it happened? And oftentimes that's all I had to say. And they would go off on a rant about everything that they remembered, how it played out, and all these emotions just came out of them. And, you know, it was one question and it was about them. It wasn't about, here's what I want you to know. It was, how old were you when, like, basically tell me about your experience of what happened. And people are dying to talk about it because it has been a festering wound and they have no outlet to speak about it. So if you're approaching strangers, find a way to connect with them and make it relevant to them instead of to you. Make it important to them, not to you. And you can open your possibilities up wider a lot quicker than otherwise. Anyway, sorry.
Basically what Sandra's reiterating is everything that Benny Wills kind of said in this interview with Richard Gage this past. So if you get a chance, look at Richard Gage Unleashed, Benny Wills. I asked a pointed question of, what do you say? What's the first thing you say to somebody about 9/11 if you had 30 seconds to say something? And he was like beside himself. He's like, I wouldn't talk about it at all. I go up and I just want to be friends with the person. And you build a rapport with the people, and then you could talk about it. And I think that's what you're saying.
I want to say something regarding what everything you guys are saying. Number one, TAP is a Truth Action Project. Anything that has to do with action, we really should be reaching out to TAP. That's why they created that. And when it's underutilized, like crazy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And regarding what you just said, Gene, we have a whole that video that was taken down from YouTube had to do with everything you just mentioned about building a relationship, even if it's just for 1 minute. You can build a relationship. You've got this repertoire going on, and then what Sandra said, it's also on this. It's on the webpage is up. We made this like maybe a month or two ago, and what Sandra just said. You know, what happened to you? Do you have any ideas? You know, like, what were you thinking when 9/11 happened? A lot of people that I've approached, you know, with that approach, and because everybody's different, you got to approach them differently, you know, according to the circumstances at that moment. And I'll say, you know, what anomalies, you know, regarding 9/11, you know, do you remember from that day? And they'll come up with stuff, and the same stuff that we come up with, you know,
right.
The vast majority don't know about World Trade Center 7, by the way.
I got to go to Ed because he's had his hand up forever.
Yeah, I was just going to say one thing with respect. I belong to another group where we're working on the COVID problem because it's very bad here in LA. Not COVID specifically, but the draconian rules and policies are put in place. For example, they now have a policy where we have to show our vaccination cards to go into a restaurant and sit down inside to eat. If I don't have a vaccination card, then I have to sit outside if they have outdoor dining. So now they're literally like segregating us like Jim Crow laws. It's like oh, so let me see your papers. If you don't show them the papers, you got to sit in the back outside like I'm some sort of like a Jim Crow law period of time. And then you got the so that's something we're pushing back on, and it's happening in Los Angeles County. That's all. But Burbank doesn't have it, but LA County does, and so it's a horrible situation. But we're working on trying to put together an injunction against the county and some other things. But I do not mix 9/11 with COVID. Not in Los Angeles. One thing you gotta be careful about is really gotta gauge your room and read your room, because it's different location. Now it might be easier in some locations than others, depending on how in this city, you know, if I were to try to mix 9/11 with COVID, all of a sudden COVID would be viewed as a 9/11 conspiracy, you know, crackpot sort of entity, at least here in Los Angeles. So you got to be really careful and read your room as far as what to incorporate, what not to.
Thank you so much for that, because that is what Benny Wills said. Yeah, you have to read the room. It depends on where you're at and who you're talking to. Thank you so much for that.
Benny Wills, how's he doing? I haven't talked to him forever. My goodness.
I didn't even know who he was until this interview, so that's amazing.
Yeah, he actually interviewed. We had a talk at his place one time, a long time ago, but I haven't talked to him for a while. But
check out the interview. I think you'd get a kick out of it.
Yeah. I like Benny. He's a good guy.
Benny Wills also has a Joy Camp. If you look at that, a lot of old videos that are hilarious on conspiracy theories. Yeah, go check them out.
Anything
Yeah.
else, Ed?
Yeah, one other thing. I just I sent a link because you guys mentioned about Adam, if he had anything that was kind of condensed and
Mhm.
easily digestible with respect to geopolitics. He put together something last week and he sent it to me, and I just put it up in the chat room. I don't know if it's simplified enough, but it's a lot of stuff there.
Ed, you said you were gonna post something and I don't see it. It's
Yeah.
like,
It's a Word doc. There should be a Word doc. I tried posting a text doc file,
I
but it
don't
wouldn't
think
take.
so.
Yeah, you said the text, the following is a doc, but then there's nothing there. Try it again.
There's no doc on there.
No.
Chronology of terror.
Oh, there it is. It's up a little bit
Yeah.
higher.
Yeah,
Okay.
check that one out. That's the one. I took the text file and I cut and pasted it into a Word doc and then was able to upload it that way.
Gene, you want to download it just in case when I copy the chat, I'm not able to grab it?
Yep, I got it. And Uncle Sam 911 from JB. All right.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
anyway, so that's there's a lot of stuff there, and he's working on trying to put together the sources, but a lot of that information is available on his WordPress. He's got all the original files and everything up there. So it's a treasure trove of information. So anybody can go and look that stuff up.
I appreciate
Ed.
that. Thank you.
I appreciate it too.
Chuck, you're up.
Well, I was going to share with Paul, but he's gone. And someone suggested that Paul was not into RFK. But to answer his question, RFK is maybe the primary one that I'm aware of who connects the dots between his father's assassination, his uncle's assassination, 9/11, and the COVID. So he does that. So I just wanted to share that. And about the issue of knowing your audience, if if TAP is going to become, I mean, I heard someone else say, we got all these websites, do we need another one? That's a fine question. I don't know what the answer is. But one of the prospect that TAP would become a kind of a clearing for multiple media sources that are attending to that the TAP would amplify. So it's conceivable on the TAP website there will be information about the COVID mandate, or however we want to frame that. There's going to be information about TAP. There's going to be information about JFK. There's going to be information. I think some people want to do a full-blown illegal geoengineering. So the theory that TAP, the value TAP can offer is a site where you enter into, and all of a sudden you see not just one single thing, but you see, and so how that's all tied together into a common unified narrative of simple explanation, so people go, oh, I get that. So that's one thing out there. And to Sandra's question, how old were you on 9/11? I really like that. I've done one truth booth activity. It was fun. And to open that up, I say, well, how old were you when this happened? And there's this truth booth is a great opener. And I really appreciate that you shared that. I'm done.
Hey, I did. So one year that I was down at Ground Zero, I wrote in chalk on the sidewalk, World Trade, this shirt basically, World Trade Center 7 didn't blow itself up. And I saw a guy coming out with a cell phone, and I knew right then he's calling the Port Authority. And 5 minutes later, I'm just finishing up. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the Port Authority police coming up to me, and I kind of like grabbed the chalk, and it was done. And I walked away. I thought I could get away with it, and they stopped me and said, "We got to ask you to take that off." I'm like, "It's just chalk." And like, the guy was pleading with me. He goes, "Please, just you're gonna make my life a living hell. You could just take this off." And he walked away, and the two other officers that were standing there, I'm looking at these guys, and I said, "How old were you guys for 9/11?" And they both laughed, and they said, the one guy said, "I was 4 years old." And the other guy looked in the air and said, "Yeah, I think I was 4 years old too." I'm like, this is just, it's kind of ridiculous. I said, "Do you guys know that the third tower fell?" And they didn't even know. They kind of agreed, but they didn't want to like show their hand as, being in uniform. But yeah, interesting.
I never used the third, if the third tower fell on 9/11. I always
Yes.
say something like, because you would have to show them a video right there, and otherwise you lose the sale, so you got one shot to make the sale. So, use
Well, like
something.
Morgan said, he has it on his phone and it's basically
that's
queued up and ready to go.
Yeah.
So if the
you have
conversation
that-
really goes there,
If you have that, then that is the tool that you need.
absolutely.
If
Yeah.
you only have your verbal skills, then you need something else. So I
Yeah.
usually.
So maybe we need to start thinking about arming ourselves with anything relevant that we can show, give, share.
I just
I'll
shared.
put that together. So yeah,
I just shared a link to the webpage that says that we did like 2 months ago.
Mhm.
okay.
And you guys can go check it out. Give me some suggestions. Sandra, I want to add what you said. How old were you? When at 9/11. That's a very good line. It's a good icebreaker.
Mhm.
But we have other suggestions, but anyway, but I want you guys to check it out and help me fine tune it, because I didn't do that for me. I did it for us. All right.
Thank you. Some other things I want to mention on this topic. I'll go back to Benny Hinn most recently, because I was watching that and I wrote some notes. He said some amazing things. One, where'd it go?
You say Benny Hinn?
Oh yeah, I did. That's so ridiculous. Not Benny Hinn. Not Benny Hinn. Thank you, Ed.
Did
Jeez.
you get hit in the head? Did you get hit in the head with a suit jacket?
Which, on that note, real quick, Benny Hinn came to Pittsburgh, and I was working with a Christian radio announcer, and I said, "Hey, I'm going to go down there and be an activist against Benny Hinn." And I reported back to him, and he said, "How's it going?" And I said, "Not so good." And he gave me a suggestion. So then, what I would do with my flyers, and I kept saying to people, "Hey, Benny Hinn's not feeling well. He's asking for prayers. Would you read this?" I got rid of all my flyers.
Oh my God. Well, who's Benny
One
Hinn though?
Benny Hinn is a Christian. He's a prosperity preacher. Just some outlandish things like, "I cast fire of spirit on you," and all these people fall down, and he signs Bibles for
Smack people up the head with
$1,000.
his freaking jacket
just-
and heals them.
Yeah, it's just ridiculousess. Sorry, I didn't mean to tangent there.
So hold on. So you were there with the 9/11 flyers?
No, I was there.
Oh,
This was before 9/11,
oh,
and I was a Christian activist, we'll say. But I couldn't get people to take my flyers. But then I said, "Hey, he needs prayer. Would you look at this?" They
Oh my
just flew
God.
out of my hand at that point. So
that's too funny.
on the Benny Wills, he said there was a phrase to neutralize it. You say, "Hey, I think this," it becomes defensive. If you say, "Hey, some people think or how do I say that? Some people think the official 9/11 story wasn't really the right story." Instead of, "Hey, I think 9/11 was an inside job," that's going to come off offensive. But if you say, "Hey, some people think," that seems to help it. He also said everybody wants to be a victim. Use that as a tool to discuss things. I can't think of a practical example right off the top of my head. I don't know if you can, Sandra, but
Well, I think it comes down to everybody wants to be acknowledged,
it's
and
their
validated.
everybody wants to be a victim. If you can kind of play that to show that, hey, we're all injured by this. A lot of times we say, "Hey, we're doing this for 9/11 victims." Then I think then my next thought is, well, we're all victims in this, because this has perpetrated endless wars. The Patriot Act, the National Defense Authorization Act. I mean, we're all victims in this.
We're doing it for the victims' families.
Yes,
That
we're
makes
doing
more
it for the victims'
specific.
families, but it opens it up to who's the victim.
Right.
It grows from just the victims' families to everybody.
Yeah. And not just us who are aware of it, but even those who resist, those who buy into the official narrative are also victims of this, and they don't even know it.
Building rapport, asking them questions. And then the last thing I'm going to share with you is back on Richard Gage, an interview with Madava. And he said he doesn't like to use the word truth. He likes to say achieving clarity. And I know, Sandra, that didn't resonate with her, but it's another one of these things where if you just think about how our words carry weight, and just how, I guess, the psychology. I would really like to talk to Fran Schur and Marty Hopper and Dorothy Lorig on these things.
Okay, can I say one thing about, because the problem is not the word truth. The problem is people who claim to know the truth or to have the truth or to own the truth, because that's arrogant and nobody owns the truth. If you're you're a truth seeker, or you're fighting for truth, or you're looking for it doesn't matter. You know, just those words will completely change the meaning of the word truth. So the problem is not the word truth,
Well,
it's what you attach it to, right?
if somebody says I'm for 9/11 truth, that's offensive to a lot of people. As soon as they hear it, it's kind of like conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Is offensive to us. It just triggers them. Oh, not 9/11 truth, and then just right there they put up walls to you. So
You're right. It does set some people off.
Everything
Yeah.
becomes a wedge issue. Like what Gene is saying is everything becomes a wedge issue. So
Mhm.
the first thing they did was call us truthers, right? Why do you think I don't call myself a truther? I'm a 9/11 truth advocate. And by the way, my cousin died that day when the first plane hit. So
Right.
you guys can also say, I know this guy that his cousin died, you know, so as soon as the first plane hit, and he's fighting today, to this, you know, to this day, you know, to get
Right.
justice, to get true justice regarding.
Well, just the victims' families, just to say that the victims' families are pursuing the truth. I mean, that should say everything they need to
Yeah,
know.
they're fighting the government. They're fighting the system because, you know, the government freaking lied to them. They didn't lie to them. That means they lied to all of us.
Right.
You know? And
Alfred, then Ziola, then Ray,
And Ed.
and then Ed.
Just as an aside, I carry around a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper with the building, the World Trade Center blowing up with a beautiful blue sky. It's a very dramatic photograph, and just show it to people and say, you know, what's that look like to you? And it's sort of breaking the ice, but to me, it meant more than any other photograph I ever looked at. It was just so clear that it was.
Do you have an example? Do
Excuse
you have
me?
it with you?
I don't have it here. No, I could try to post it or, but yeah, no, it's an iconic photograph that people immediately have to question. So
Is it coming the day that it was falling, or is it when it was pristine World Trade?
pristine blue, and then you know, it's blowing up, going straight up in the air and going out sideways. It's, you know, it's like a mushroom cloud. And,
Okay.
we've all seen it. I mean, I don't know if you're having trouble visualizing it, but it's, you know, it's a perfect, I think we even have it on our website if I recall, but it's, you know, for me, that was the, you know, the ultimate in getting people to realize what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ziola.
I had an idea about the flash mobs, doing flash mobs like maybe once a month, you know, get together on the weekend, get like a group of anywhere from 4 to 8, hopefully more people eventually. But if you have a solid group of 4 to 8 people that are willing to show up every weekend and do either a theatrical skit, a flash mob, some sort of thing to kind of like do it in a crowded area, you know, where there's like protests and stuff already going on, go out and do your skit or your theatrical act or flash mob. And I think that would be a really cool way of getting people to think about that, you know, like, and also everybody in the flash mob wearing 9/11 shirts or somehow incorporating the whole truth of you know, not the whole truth, you can't get it all out there in a theatrical skit, but you can at least plant the seeds and get people thinking about things and really make your statement in that way. Humor, like you said earlier, Sandra, humor is another good way. Humor, theatrics, any way you can get people to think and you know, when you can get them to interact is really pretty powerful too. Incorporate the crowd into it somehow, you know, say, hey, do you remember where you were on the day of 9/11 or how old were you? And the crowd shouts out back their answers at you, you know, it's a good way to include them.
Right.
So that's what I have.
Right. You know what, Zilla, I would kill to have
Yeah.
It's the problem is that so many of us are lone wolves in our own cities, and you know, where you are, maybe you have more people around you. But a lot of us don't, you know, and so, you know, it's great if you have a group. The whole idea is to eventually get a group and build a group, and then yeah, you can do great things like that, you know. Until
I
then,
think are in that position.
Sorry?
Onesies here and there. We're very spread out. Everybody's
Yes.
so spread out. You're
we
right.
are.
So Ziola's kind of hitting on the topics that I did want Dave to talk about, and Dave's no longer here. I'm wondering if he had said I have to leave in 7 minutes. I thought he was telling me his presentation would only be 7 minutes, but he's no longer here, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to talk about this later, but I just want to give you guys a brief glimpse at this before I go on to your Ray, because Ziola is hitting on it. When he wrote this back in 1973, I guess, they didn't have handheld devices. He didn't have flash mobs. Like all these things weren't around. So you can see, I mean, some of these are great ideas. The ones we're probably most familiar with are slogans and banners and leaflets and things like that. But then there's, you know, mock awards, group lobbying. It's amazing. He came up with 198 items, and a lot of these towards the end, you do need large groups, because if you're going to boycott elections, you better have a lot of people. Otherwise, that's going to be completely worthless. So that was that. And then I did try to share, I think this was the picture that Al was referencing, maybe.
That's dramatic.
It's the one, it's just like that. It's just a straight on shot with the blue sky. Yeah, but it is that mushroom cloud you're showing there.
Gene, could you share that link so I could open up a tab right now?
Share a link so we can open. Oh,
Get to that page.
I typed in, excuse me, Gene Sharp's. Oh, yeah, I'll just put it in the chat. How about that? All right. Yep. Ray, you are up.
Yes. Did anybody see the film from Dylan Avery, The Unspeakable? It was Bob McElvain, and I thought it was really it hit hard home. You know, it was personal. It was really another way of telling a story that is that changed. And I was looking at how much views it got, and it was it's not really amount that you kind of be knocked over. It's 270,000, and so it's for me, you know, it's a big thing now if you compare it to other 9/11 related videos which are brought out. It's really catching on, and I think that's also a message which we have to you know, expand on to give it a personal face, to really and I was looking for other people who are also impacted by 9/11, people who really were personally impacted. And I came across a lady, Lauren Manning, and she tells a story in 1 hour about her life and how it impacted her. And it was really, I was listening to that, I was really shocked about what she went through, because she was in the building when it was hit, and she was standing in front of the elevator, and she was hit by this massive heat, and all her skin was burned off, and her recovery from this in the real world to come back, and she was working for I don't know, I can look it up. She was somewhere in the North Tower.
But what was
She
your
was working-
takeaway from that,
Controversial. Yeah, but it's getting the personal input from 9/11 across. It's like things happened, but it's the personal stories that are going to live on for forever, because these people experienced it. And that's the Bob McIlvaine is the same thing. He experienced his taken away from his son was taken away from him, and it's that personal thing that I think we have to really bring across, also with the grace how Dylan Avery did this, because it's not a it's really good movie to show to people. And
but it's
even the
hard.
people, it's not hard.
It's hard to get people to watch a movie. It's hard to even get them to watch a 2-minute clip. That's why when you can put everything into a meme and just share that and trigger something, that's already a lot quicker and more powerful, because people don't even have a chance to, to not look at it. A movie, that's a commitment. You have to get someone to say, okay, I'll sit. We all know how hard it is.
I know, but it's the movies that brought 9/11 to the table. It was loose change. It was the movies that brought so much debate, so much enthusiasm into the and I think that the movie from Dylan Avery is it must be promoted more.
I agree
in that way,
Well,
because I think it's a really good example of getting people to look at it in a different way.
If I can chime in just real quick, I like what you said there. Yeah, it's the 9/11 films did bring people to the table. However, everybody has already ate their dinner, got up from the table, went and did their own thing, and did the dishes already. So I don't. The problem is that you have this. It's when you have a new thing that happens, like a historic event like 9/11 happening, and it happens in a particular unit of time. It is at that moment when people are most interested in the information coming in for it with regards to it. Once the fire hose of information has been shut off, or nobody's drinking from it anymore, it's very hard to get people to come back to it and drink from it again. And I get what Sandra is saying, and I get what you're saying. Trust me, it's freaking hard. It's hard to get people to care anymore. People are apathetic. People have become so apathetic these days, and I want to apologize. I want to take my. I guess I want to say about with Gene here. Somebody said last weekend, but I don't want to say it yet because it wasn't my turn. But I want to chime in on that comment. So thank you for letting me chime in there.
Okay.
I just want
to. Maybe I'll post this link from this woman who was working for Cantor Fitzgerald, and just take, because it's not from the point of view from 9/11, but I think it's for everybody.
It's personalizing it. It's giving a face.
Yeah. But it's also the impact of what happened in New York is really it takes another level when you hear it from somebody who is really outspoken in her words. She's amazing, but listen to her what she went through, and then you question and we question the story, and then it really hits home. And that's what's with the Bob McIlvaine too,
Yeah.
It impacts people in a way, and I think what they are doing, suing the New York Times, very good, because that's it's the Spike Lee film. Bob McIlvaine was supposed to be in it. And it you can leave Richard Gage out. That's one thing, but he threw away Bob McIlvaine, and that's so because the power of Bob is what they did not want to see. it's getting, you know, you have to, it's like there are things that we remember and we put on all the people who overcome it and who do not question the official story, they get the airtime. But the people who question the official story and they did overcome the same thing, they don't get the airtime, because when it becomes personal, it's a breakthrough.
It is. I agree, and that's how you reach people, not with the information, but with the on the emotional level.
Yes, it's very powerful.
There's also something a little bit more to that, and this is a little tangential, but I think it still plays into it. When I did a doctor interview with the VA, that she asked me, "Are you a visual learner, auditory learner? Do you have to have hands-on?" That's one part of what I'm sharing. The other part is some people, depending on their personality type, they like facts and figures. Other people like stories. So it really depends on the person on how you convey these things. I thought Unspeakable was a little slow and drawn out and kind of boring at times, but I'm an INTJ and I just want facts. And it was a little altogether, yes, good video, but it just resonates with different people on different levels. So depending on our strengths and weaknesses, or let me say that again, depending on our strengths as advocates and activists, how we
best,
you know, how you're gifted to be able to share that information and whatever interests you and however the type of personality you are, it's going to resonate with on that opposite end of those different types of people. So that's all I wanted to share.
Can I just quickly interrupt, because there's 3 hands up and I don't know if they're still up or if they're up again. There's well, Ray just finished talking, but there's Ed and Alfred. And I also want to acknowledge that there's a Bruce on the call who just joined, and I'm not sure which Bruce it is, or if it's a
Almighty.
Bruce I know.
It's not Bruce Almighty. It's not Bruce Almighty.
Bruce Almighty.
Hi, it's Bruce Stanley. I didn't fill out a last name.
That's okay. We just wanted to say hi and welcome, and you're kind of coming in a little bit at the tail end, but
thanks for
joining.
joining.
I joined about 15, 20 minutes ago. It's my first time joining this call, but I've been seeing the flyers in the 9/11 Truth Facebook group.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you for joining, brother.
Right.
So Ray, Ed, and Al, and I don't know how much longer we want to go. We're at the 2-hour mark now.
Well, I think Alfred was a new hand, but Ed, did you have something to add?
Well, Ray wanted one last point.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Ray.
I posted the link from this video from this woman I saw, Lauren Mannings, and
I'll share it.
Yeah, but I posted in the comment section, and you can look at it. It's really, when you listen to her and don't think what she was explained, but what she explains, she saw.
Right,
and
but I'll share it.
It's really impactful. It's really
I'll share it in the recap email.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay. Ed, you got the floor, or the table, whatever.
All right. Gene, last weekend you said something that was interesting. You said something about when it comes to reaching out and doing activism, that you are right now trying to reach out to a new generation of 9/11 truthers, basically, lack of a better word.
Truth advocates.
A new generation of people.
Yep.
And I get that. I had a concern about it, and my concern is this: if you're going to reach out to a new generation of people, and you're going to reach out to them with the same information that you had with the other generation, I'm worried that you're going to end up with the same result we have with the 20-year mark we have now with the new generation.
I hear you, and I kind of know where you're going, and I respect that.
I think we got to give them something new. Otherwise, we're going to rehash the same old thing.
But they're going to have a different reaction than the current generation because their experience of it is different. They don't have a horse in the race because it didn't happen on their watch. And so they will receive it different. They will receive even the old information differently. Sorry, Gene, you answered.
Well, fundamentally, I think fundamentally, I think what it boils down to, what Ed's getting, and forgive me if I'm wrong, Ed, I'm shooting in the dark here. He's opposed to going at them with building 7 and the towers, as we
No.
should probably be going to it with geopolitics.
No.
All right.
No.
Forgive me then.
What I'm saying is that we as a group need to grow
Yes.
with our knowledge.
Mhm.
We have to do that, period, end of story. And I don't see us doing that. I see us stuck. We're stuck at ground zero, and we need to get out of ground zero.
Yeah, but we're not stuck, and I think we
well,
disagree on
here's
this
my-
manner.
But it's an analogy. But let me explain. What I'm saying is that there is so much information regarding 9/11. We cannot stop learning that stuff, and we cannot stop sharing that information, and we can't stop learning that information of what it means with respect to the entire narrative. And we have to understand how to incorporate the new information into the narrative. You can talk about that in several building 7. You can talk about whatever you want. We can talk about the old stuff all you want. We can talk about whatever works.
Well, wait, when I bring up, let me clarify something real quick when you say that, because when I talk about building 7, I'm not so much caring so much more about the evidence as I am that now we're having oral arguments January 21st, 2022. So to a new group of people, hey, this is very much still relevant. It's very current, and there's current legal arguments going on right now. Go ahead.
That's fine. That's all fine. I'm just saying there's again, when we talked, when I asked that question last weekend about how much of 9/11 of information is out there and how much of it do we really know, it's a very little that we actually know versus how much is out there.
Yep.
So we have, if we don't know what we don't know,
Right.
we're in trouble.
But that applies
Because
to us as a group, as us.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
If you're going to go
Because
out in
if we don't-
public, you don't want to start overwhelming them with everything that we know, right? You
No,
want
no,
to
no. You
start
don't.
with the
No, I'm not.
bite-sized pieces.
No, I'm not saying that at all. But
Okay.
the problem is, if you're looking at something that we know currently as, and we consider that to be like I've heard people say like a smoking gun, et cetera. We don't know what other smoking guns are out there. We don't know what other information is so damning that
Fair
it
enough.
would be a much easier avenue to go down.
Well,
We don't know.
if those damning evidence, if there is, okay, yeah, there could be more damning smoking guns,
Yes.
but as far as damning smoking gun evidence, I'm sorry, 7 nanothermite and iron microspheres are.
It doesn't give you any names. That's the problem with it.
So I understand you guys want to go from, when I say, I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound derogatory and say you guys, forgive me.
It's okay.
But
I just want to make sure that the new generation we speak to understands that there's other information, there's more information available now.
yes,
And we need to share that information as well. And however we deliver it, it doesn't matter.
it
I just
doesn't.
want to make sure we're not repeating, rinse and repeat. That's what I'm hearing.
So
That's all I want to bring up. That's all I want to say.
on the, we don't name names. I hear you. I don't know how to address this. Hang on. I don't know how to address this fully, but when I say that we're going through legal avenues right now to get the grand jury investigation, we're naming the evidence. And then with subpoena power, testimony under oath, and discovery of relative evidence, that's when subpoenas start being sent out, and then we get indictments. That's when names start being named. It's like Ghislaine Maxwell right now. Names are starting to drop now slowly, but it didn't happen until we already had the grand jury start for that process. Where Ed's coming from is, yeah, they do the geopolitics. That's naming names right off the bat. I mean, unfortunately, though, there hasn't been any lawsuit filed.
There hasn't been anybody willing to learn the information in order to get a groundswell of support with regards to the information. Nobody wants to do the work to study it. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why I sent you guys
Mick invited you.
What's that?
Mick, the litigation director for the lawyers committee, was impressed by your ability to talk legal action and invited you to be part of that. So, I mean, if you guys want inroads to start something, it's right there. You got it on a golden platter, brother.
Okay. I didn't know you invited us in that sort of direct respect, but I thought
not you guys, but you particularly. I think he was very impressed with you.
Yeah, and I'm planning on reaching out to him too. I just want to make sure I have something solid to bring to him, since he is an
Yes.
attorney. He's gonna want that. So
Exactly.
we're working on that.
Thank you, Ed.
Okay, we need to move on to There's Alfred, Kale, and Roy that have their hands up, and then maybe we can start winding it down.
So we are seeing the hands raised in the same order. That's cool. Okay.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, I look at it a lot like advertising, like the Geico ads, and I post something every day on Facebook related to 9/11. And yeah, it gets old. Yeah, there's, maybe not all new stuff, but the whole idea of repeat is key in advertising. And the 9/11 official story, they hit you over the head, from the first day on.
Yeah, that's what they did, right?
So why don't we follow their cues? I mean, and just keep putting it out there. I really think we're in an advertising campaign here as much as we are,
Right, but what does the ad deliver to you? That's the question.
How are the ads delivered to you?
What does the ad deliver? What does it deliver to the end person who's seeing it at the end of the day?
Well,
So there's two thoughts here.
Go to our website on Facebook if Boston 9/11 Truth. And I mean, I try to get something intelligent, pertinent, and new every day on that site. I'll pick out a meme. I'll pick out anything I see that this is either funny or it's
Relevant,
new information. And
So there are people that want to get into the deeper subjects. They're tired of talking. I guess this is the type of activist you are. I like to stay on the baby steps and I will repeat them a million times because there's constantly new people coming in, baby truthers, excuse me the term, new advocates, and you got to meet them there. You just keep repeating the same basic stuff, and it's amazing. I mean, we did hear that 85%.
But why does that have to be the basic stuff?
So 85% of the public agrees that something was wrong with the JFK assassination. To this date, I think we're only at like 30% of the people know that. I forgot the stat that we had in our poll that we paid for. How many people are aware that a third tower fell? It's still a very low number. So
50%.
Was it 50? Okay, so it is growing. It grew from 30% to 50%. So this repeating is having an effect. But I do hear you, Ed. There's also avenues for introducing the deeper information as well. But most people, the laymen first getting started into this, they're not ready to, as Claudio said, drink from a fire hose. We have to be there for the layman.
But I think the labeling of it as deeper information is where we're flawed, because because it's not deeper information, it's just different information. When you call it deeper, then you automatically create this pullback from it. It's like, oh, that's too much for me. It's information. It's information. It is what it is. It's not this or that. It's just something we weren't aware of before.
If Adam Fitzgerald comes on and gives you 5 minutes, he's going to throw out so many names that have so many vowels that I'm just overwhelmed. The beginner is just going to be overwhelmed. That's what I meant by deeper. It's just very
same thing
complex.
With 9/11 as far as the buildings and stuff like that. It's like, well, yeah, when we start talking about the structure and the engineering and the physics, I mean, that could get overwhelming too. It all is overwhelming depending on how it's delivered.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, the layman does not want to go sitting through one of Richard Gage's webinars because that's a bad example because he really did polish them up very well. Anyways, we'll move. Thank you for that.
Right.
Al, you still have anything more? I know. I see you, Claudio. Hang on.
Kale and Roy.
And Ray and Morgan and Claudio.
So Kale, go ahead.
I was wondering if the information in Ed's file was this new 9/11 information that people should have in order to have a more effective truth movement.
There's a lot of it. Yeah, a lot of that's there.
Okay. All right.
And about 80% of that stuff is not in the commission report or anything like that, just so you know.
So so there's a correspondence between what you were just talking about and the file that you placed the link to.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you. The other thing I was asking was that somebody said something about someone approving a message in the 9/11 Truth Movement Facebook group.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who was that?
Paul Minot sent one about Gene Sharp's 198 methods of nonviolent action.
I didn't. Is he in the?
He left.
Okay. Could you post his name? Oh, well, he's gone. All right. Well,
You'll see it. It's one of the newest posts in the 9/11 Truth Movement. Paul Minot.
No, I can't get into it. I'm muted.
Oh, that's right.
Very limited access. That's what I was going to
Well,
ask him
Gina,
about.
Gina and I can unblock you.
I did post it also in the chat somewhere back.
But Roy, if you want to be back into on the Truth Movement page, if that's what you want, then we can get you back in.
I'm just going to caution you, Roy. The admins, I'm only a moderator and Sandra's only a moderator. The admins are vehemently against anybody that's a no planer in any capacity. So as soon as you bring that up, you will be kicked. So,
Well, I hardly consider that amusing.
No, I know. Well, it just is what it is.
And I can't say anything. I could, there might be one or two other things I might not be allowed to say anything about, and these things might or might not have something to do with 9/11 truth.
I understand.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm aware of the censorship in the 9/11 truth movement, and if I get let back in, I'll be aware of that censorship. And I've been warned that if I say that I don't think passenger airliners hit the towers,
just take it with a grain of salt, brother. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Kale.
Yeah, I just wanted to add the youth today, the young men and women out there that are experiencing their freedoms and liberties being taken away as we speak. We have a moment in time to seize, to help open up other minds. And a lot of people are willing to look into how did we get here? Okay, without having to say the C word. But they're experiencing their freedoms, truths, liberties being taken, their rights to their own body being taken away as we speak. So you have a lot of people right now, young, that their minds are just open and they want information from all different areas.
I'm just gonna get out of here.
Which includes 9/11 truth.
Yeah, I'll say that they're open, but at the same time, this is their main concern right now.
It is their main concern. It is their main concern, but they want to learn more. How did we get here and what's happened in the past?
Sure.
So for those 9/11 truth advocates that want to pursue that bridge, go for it. I have no problem with that. Right. Yeah. It's a good, you can make some good ties.
It's a strategy.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Gail. Ray, you're up.
Morgan. Yeah.
Okay. I can say a lot, it's so much. 9/11 is so much. And then the COVID, I'm not getting into it. I'm done with it. Really, I'm done. 9/11 is my thing, and I'm sticking to it. It's really not in my interest of waste of time, because 9/11 you can see it, and I think that's the thing. What is really strong about 9/11? It's visual. It's so fucking visual. And you cannot go around that. And I think that if you want to communicate visual signs, visual images, visual things are really, really important. It's especially with youth. Is there a TikTok for the kids? The 9/11 TikTok for kids.
It should make that a thing.
Yeah, whatever. Maybe you get banned directly because but it's.
I like it though. It's catchy.
Action items.
Yeah. But it's and then only visual items. Nothing really too deep and whatever. But I think it's about, we are as a group. We need to learn to listen to each other and really give space to thoughts of other people in not that we have to accept it. It's not about accepting, But we have to be, even when we talk about 9/11 with a random person on the street, the moment you are not listening is the moment that the person walks away.
Right. Yeah.
It's you're done.
Yeah, you have to keep the stream of communication open at all times. There's no question about it.
Yes.
Okay, right. I'm gonna cut you off because there's still Morgan who wanted to talk,
Okay.
and we're gonna. This is gonna end up to be another 2.5 hours. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
if
Rick.
Morgan is still there.
Disappeared.
I am.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I just wanted to, if I can, even accent what Ed Brotherton said about getting the names versus the science that's there. And I think there are some examples of that, including the supplemental petition that the Lawyers Committee filed after they filed the science and the 57 exhibits. They also named names. But I think this is the bridging of the divide between the scientific and the geopolitical. And I think really it would be great to have a curriculum focus where we could come together, if it's possible, combine forces and get something hashed out that the majority of people can agree on. That said, it really would be great for these people that we can give the rinse, lather, repeat messages to, the new truthers, baby truthers, or whatever like that, people that are coming in, because that's a constant thing. People are overturning, going towards this every single day. It'd be great to have a second step and an actual path that we could together, chop through the jungle to give people, and geopolitical.
What do you mean by a second step?
So we have memes and a million different ways to get people that are opening up to say, oh yeah, well, let me come and check this out. But then the second step, architects and engineers has done an excellent job, and the other scientists that worked to provide a curriculum, a path that new recruits can look at and really learn without all the pitfalls of bad theories and different camps fighting each other and et cetera in the 9/11 truth movement, in addition to the censorship that is out there. If we had a real path established for the geopolitical, and Adam Fitzgerald and a lot of other people have really worked on this, and I think that there really could be some great growth there. But to bridge the geopolitical and the science, to provide names on that other side of things would really bolster the movement. That's all I got to say.
Well, there's definitely got to be some basic geopolitical information that's, that would qualify.
I want to share a clip real quick of Mick West. This was just happened November 30th. Not Mick West. Jeez, oh man. Mick Harrison. Keep doing this, slips. I'm hoping you guys can hear this audio. Let's try this. Can you hear that?
Nope.
Dang it. How do I do this? I want you to hear this.
In the meantime, I want to vote Bruce Stanley for having the most dramatic lighting. And it looks amazing. That 4:1 aspect rate, that 4:1 ratio, I love
it. From an undisclosed cage, cave in a basement somewhere.
Awesome. Okay. I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to do this ghetto style, and hopefully it feeds back through my mic and you guys can hear it this way. This is Mick Harrison talking about the three things that he sees them progressing with as far as 9/11 litigation. It ties in with what Ed said here, and I hope you guys can hear this. Let me try.
And this project, we really do need you to see this through. So give what you can, and we'll do what we can to make sure it happens. And I would close by saying there are three mysteries that impressed me about 9/11. Why did the buildings fall? Why hasn't the government done something about the evidence of demolition and then who done it. The first mystery has been solved by the work of the scientists, architects, and engineers. We now know why the buildings fell down. It was explosive demolition. It's not a mystery anymore. That evidence is going to be explained in a user-friendly way by Richard, and we're going to help him in the documentary we're producing. The second question, why hasn't the government done something about that demolition evidence, is the second part of the documentary, which is the government cover-up. And then the third part, the whodunit, we're going to get into at the end about where does the evidence lead us, and how do we need to follow that evidence?
That's all. So basically, the whodunit, as Ed pointed out, for us, it would be coming at the end. And there are material witnesses that have been identified, not named by it. It doesn't say Savon Kurzberg, but if you went to 911lawyers.org/material witnesses, there's a section there that talks about the dancing Israelis. So they are material witnesses. That's kind of a naming names there in a way.
Do you want to unshare your screen? And also,
yeah.
Can you put the link to that in the chat?
Yeah, I will do that. Stop share. Anybody else have anything else for the good of the order?
I was waiting, Gene, for you to call me.
Sorry.
Okay.
You got to put your hand up, bro. There's too much going on
I
here.
put it up like a half an hour ago.
Yeah, I know, but I see that, and then I forget. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, 5 minutes ago. I was just going to say that, we said a long time ago that you got to make the truth look popular to get more people curious regarding 9/11 truth. 9/11 t-shirt. Gene wears one. I don't know how often you wear it in public.
Every day.
If you've got bumper stickers, if you don't, just make up your own. We don't have any bumper stickers, by the way. We gave away every bumper sticker we ever had. We never sold one. And but you've got to keep getting the visual out there. Somebody mentioned visual. We're living in a world where everything it's what is it, a showcase? What is that? What is that? The world's
we're living in a soundbite world.
Well, the world is a stage. We're all in show business, and people. And somebody says about the visual. The visual is extremely important. You saw the billboard right by the what was it? The Wall Street Journal? No.
New York Times.
New York Times, right? That's a visual. A T-shirt is a visual. A bumper sticker is a visual. And I'm going to say that your profile picture is a visual. That's why we created our campaign. That's why they came after us from the get-go, because it was a little too popular, but become the ad for 9/11 truth.
Mm-hmm.
That it doesn't take a genius to say that's a freaking good idea. By the way, I didn't make up this, like I says, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We just need to apply it here. Whatever the bad guys do, we just do it for the good guys. And the thing about us is that they sell lies, we sell truth, and the truth will bankrupt their lies. We just got to make truth look a little bit more popular. So that's all I want to say regarding it, because easy kicks complicated's ass. So we, always you see an easy way to get a job done, then grab it. And
can I just I need to unload my baby over here that I've been ranting about for the last 10 years. I feel very, very, very strongly, if there's one thing that I could make happen out of all the things on my list, it would be that there would be a 9/11 truth symbol. The same way that there's a peace symbol and an anarchy symbol and a yin yang symbol, and because symbols are extremely powerful. And I created my own. It's my profile picture on Facebook. That doesn't mean that's just what I run with. But if there was such a thing that was a unifying symbol that everybody could stand behind, and and Gene and I came up with another one, if you want to find that one. That one, exactly. That is a 9, and that's a 1 and a 1 and a T, and it works out beautifully into what I think is an amazing symbol. Gene came up with that. You know, if it, you know, that's all you would need, you know, the same way that people had their 9/11 truth, their peace t-shirts after the Vietnam War. It's very powerful. People know instantly from just a couple of lines what you're talking about. So,
well, when you guys, whoever is not familiar with our campaign, you know, what we did was we created a Swiss Army knife. We're doing exactly what Sandra is attempting to do. We have done this. What Gene has been doing. I mean, you guys, we made you guys 9/11 awareness banners. The other thing is that we show that people are coming from all over the world, getting out of the closet, that 9/11 was indeed an inside job. And they're easy to do. I mean, they're easy to post, you know, in your as your profile picture. But we created this thing in 2014, and so it's been out there. The problem is the divide and conquer thing. That's been devastating for us. I have a problem with it says truth. See, it says truth. This is the truth movement, and what gives us all the power in the world are facts, and that's why we have truth, because of the facts. And a lot of advocates, they compromise on the facts a lot, to our detriment.
right, I know, but if we get bogged again, you know,
If we present the facts, advocates don't want to hear it because they like the stories before the facts. But it's like the official story of 9/11. The vast majority of people fell for it. I fell for it. I mean, the vast majority of us did. But after a while, we got to know that it was nothing but a story, but the facts is why we're here.
Yeah, I know, but you can have a whole discussion about the facts, and I don't want to go that road. I think
we ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
We ain't got
Well, there's
nothing.
different
As soon as you compromise on the facts, we lose.
You have different interpretations of the facts. That's the
And I got to
problem.
walk my
yes,
neighbor's
yes,
dogs
thank
now,
you.
so
And
gotta
I
go.
don't want to start a discussion about that. That's
Hey,
exactly what I don't want to have.
Truth on any level, we'll be kicking the ass.
So on that note, I did ask Richard Gage as an idea. He does those seminars, webinars. If he made a certification, kind of going with what Claudia was talking about here, if we could agree on the basic facts, even just the basic facts, and he could, because I was in the computer field and we had to get certified. So you go and take this god awful difficult test, and 100 questions, you got 90 questions right, you passed the test. Just a certification. This isn't to get a big head. Oh, I'm a 9/11 Truth official. No, this is just to know that if people wanted to participate in it, you get one of Richard's workbooks, you listen to the webinars, you take the test online, and you get certified. And it would just say that, you know, okay, you see somebody going out and sharing stuff that's just inaccurate. That's terrible for the 9/11 Truth movement. But yeah, it's a start. Go ahead, Ray.
Your facts are, if I say it's wrong, please.
You can step on my toes. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. But Richard Gage are your facts. If I say it really blunt, Richard is the fact, because Richard is actually a person which I listen to a lot, and he collected facts from other people and made a presentation from those and traveled around the world. And I've seen 2 of his presentations, and they were nearly alike, but it was nice to meet him at one presentation personally, and the other presentation, he was too surrounded. But even Richard has a small field of view, and I think that what we have to do maybe is have these visual debates with each other, or gatherings or communities more existing in the truth movement as a way of relating, like Ed has ideas and other has ideas, that we bring it together in a sort of chamber that we can meet each other on a personal level, and in that way also not only have new ideas for activism, but also have new ideas on 9/11. Because in my thing, what I did is I every photo there is of 9/11, I have it in my collection. Every photo that was taken on that day, I put it on my hard drive, and video. That's the same thing. It's looking at that day, and therein there is a lot of room for us to bring out a new message what did not exist. And I'm you know, it's like we're done with 9/11 because we battled about the Pentagon, and we have established the facts in New York. I disagree. We have not even touched on the facts in New York.
Okay, but Ray, you know what?
No,
We've been going on for 2.5 hours, and I think people are really tuning out now.
I know.
And we're saying things that we've already said. And
No. Yeah, I just one thing. It's the streets of New York were littered with building debris.
Okay, but we're going back into.
No, wait.
Yes,
Let me finish.
are.
May I finish? And then you have the streets were littered with building debris, plane debris, and human debris before the towers even came down. And it's so much more explosive what we do not know.
Which is what Ed was saying. There's a lot of information we don't know. So
yeah. And because those pictures were never highlighted in the mainstream press, the body parts which littered the streets, which came out of those planes and towers, we never saw. We never saw the human suffering of 9/11 in a way, like we have seen other things happen.
I'm not denying that, but this is not about moving. This is not about activism or moving this forward, or what we can do next week in the street when we're out there talking to a stranger.
You said this is not, but we are.
No, what he's presenting is not. Has nothing to do with moving us forward.
No, it's about us humans.
I agree.
Us humans, like Richard, like you, Sandra, and Jean. Us humans growing, and like Ed said, there are things that, you know, I'm not. I've listened to a lot of people. Everybody I give a chance. I give it the 1 hour chance for my life to listen to somebody talking about 9/11.
So it's never going to end talking about the evidence. That we can go over that.
No, it's there. It's right in your face.
Same with JFK.
That's the thing. That's not JFK. There's much more evidence about this one than JFK.
Right. What I'm saying is people are still going to talk about the evidence and rehash the evidence forever. That's never going to go away. But what we're trying to do in this group is give practical action items for being out to get on the street and stuff like that.
I know, but I was just thinking that we have to come together in groups like this, on calls, on video chats with each other, instead of
other forums
keyboard worrying. I've spent so much words with talking with David Chandler. I've you know, the people that block me because they don't want to hear. They only want to hear their own vision, and it's not that I'm propagating a vision. It's like I'm saying you're missing things in your vision.
Well, maybe there needs to be a separate group or entity that discusses.
I would love to talk to Richard one-on-one
information.
for an hour. You know,
what I'm saying is that what you're talking about right now are conversations that would be better approached by Richard, because he's the one he's going to get into the details of that stuff, and that's not what we're doing here.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you. So to recap for today's call, action items that I heard, getting a counter, trying to find out if we can all start to look into finding out about the number of cancer victims trying to keep an update there. Claudia would like some input on that page he shared about not giving a glass of water with the fire hose. I think David was interested in a song tribute to Barry Jennings. Action items. Anybody else remember anything?
Well, I mean, it wasn't, there was some that were just very general, and it doesn't always have to be a specific thing. If someone walks away from this,
well,
saying, yeah, you know what, maybe I should get myself a 9/11 Truth t-shirt and wear it more often and always have flyers handy when I'm out there, then that's
I guess. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, if I'm just not even looking at notes and thinking about action items for us as truth advocates and activists, the passive activism, start wearing t-shirts, put a sticker on your car. Put up as, like I showed some stickers. I put stickers and flyers up here. I'll share again real quick. I'll go into a bathroom and tape a flyer to the back of the bathroom stall door. That's not really fancy, but who cares? What else we got in here? Just basically that idea. Just simple things you can do. Very passive. You don't have to engage with anybody. I'm not even asking you to hand a flyer to somebody, but
right.
Here it is. Me picking up Sandra at the airport in New York. I'm like, hey, there's an opportunity for me to put a sticker right here. And now everybody goes to LaGuardia Airport. If anybody pulls over right there, because they always do to line up to get to the ramp, that's there. Just anything. Here's a door. Very subtle, but hey, I don't know if you can see the one. There it is there. I think those are practical beginner baby steps, because nobody really, I noticed in Ground Zero, you hand people flyers and you can tell the introverts from the extroverts. The introverts kind of just step back and all the extroverts just, man, they're right out into the group. And it's like, wow, God bless those people, because that's not me. Some people feel really comfortable taking a tablet with petitions and asking people for their signatures. Other people will be mortified by that. So whatever feels comfortable for you.
I think Morgan's got his hand up.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Morgan.
And maybe stop the screen share.
Oh yeah, sorry.
That is if you're done detailing what you brought from the meeting, Gene.
Let's see. Any other action items? There was an action item. I don't know. If you guys wrote them down, if it resonated with you, you'll take it away from this meeting.
I'll give a more detailed recap of this.
Thanks. Yeah, we're good. You're up, Morgan, and then I think we might wrap it up here.
Okay, I'll reiterate. I have at my fingers a database of roughly towards 4,000 people in the Truth Action Project / 9/11 Truth Action Project database. You are welcome to send. Very simple. All you got to do is put some lines together promoting your thing, what it is. We will take a quick check box look at it. But that said, you don't have to be TAP to put something in there, and TAP could use your input to keep our flow going. So please give me that. On top of that, well, as a part of that, I send that email out, and then all the responses that come back, those are routed direct to whoever it is that's sending that email. Then I will give you that. There you go.
Yeah, that needs to happen more often. Yes.
All
okay,
right.
Gene, wrap it up.
One more last one. I wanted to, and I can't find the picture that I'm looking for, but I'm just going to show this one because I think it's kind of humorous. Bruce Stanley looks like a young Andy Warhol right now in his profile pic. It's hilarious. I can't find the picture that I'm looking for, but that's funny. Anyway, all right. Thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate you all. Have a great week, and we'll hopefully see you next week.
Thank you for sticking through till the end. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Aloha.
Hello.